Hi, I'm Tristan. I'm 13 years old. I'm curious, I'm passionate, and I'm sure you are too. Join me on a quest to dig deep and find out new things. Welcome to Youth Voices. Good evening. Welcome to my program. This is your host, Tristan Pang on Planet FM 104.6. Good to have your company on a Saturday evening. In today's show, we will chat with a highly successful and the world's top student, Jamie Beaton. But first, let's explore. In my earlier shows, I mentioned the world's longest name of a hill, which is in Hawke's Bay. It has 85 letters. A listener who is living in England wrote to me the longest place name in the UK, which is in Wales, and has 58 letters. I asked my Welsh friend, Mark Jones, who is now in Oxford, to say it for us. So here we go. Wait a minute, Mark. Can you say it a bit slower?
Llanfair pwch gwingich gogerich windrobwych llantysilio go goch.
So what is the English translation, Mark?
St. Mary's Church in the hollow of the White Hazel, near to the rapid whirlpool of Llantysilia of the Red Cave.
That is really awesome. Thank you, Mark. The church was constructed in the 15th century, and no one today can find the Red Cave. However, the white hazels at St. Mary's have long been replaced by oak and elm trees. Let's talk. Born and raised in Auckland, 20 years old Jamie Beaton is a student at Harvard University pursuing a Bachelor of Arts and Masters of Science degree in Applied Maths Economics with a secondary in Global Health. He will be graduating in 2016. It is needless for me to list out what awards, scholarships, and internal and external results Jamie has got, because those will become unimportant if I tell you he was accepted by 25 of the world's top universities when he graduated from King's College 2 years ago. That's truly incredible and extraordinary. Because of his outstanding achievements and his unique experiences, Jamie is keen to break the educational barriers that prevent cross-country migration. He established Crimson Consulting 2 years ago. Crimson Consulting is the largest educational consultant company in the Southern Hemisphere. They assist students applying to the top US, UK, Australian, and Asian universities, as well as with elite tutoring in a wide variety of areas. Jamie also has a deep interest in fundamental and quantitative analysis of the equity markets, as well as activist investing. He is also working part-time as an equity analyst for an American billionaire, Julian Robinson at Tiger Management. I'm pleased to have this highly intelligent and passionate young man with us today. Hi Jamie, welcome to my show.
Hey Tristan, great to be on.
So I'm so lucky to meet someone who's so intelligent and who has achieved so much. I think that at this moment in time, there's no one that can compete with you, and you must be the world's top student. So first of all, let's talk about your academic achievements. So you sat 10 Cambridge A-level exams and aced all the subjects, and you even got some top in the world. So I wonder how you can manage to do all this, and did you spend all your spare time studying, and did you distribute your studying time evenly to all 10 subjects? Or did you have a strategy to achieve such a remarkable result?
Well, firstly, Tristan, I think you're the world's smartest student, so that's very kind, but it's kind of amazing what you're up to. But anyway, I really appreciate your kind words. So let me go through this. So basically, in terms of my high school kind of philosophy, I think fundamentally, and I think you share this view, Tristan, the most important thing is you have to really, deeply, passionately believe in, subjects you're learning. So I always chose subjects that I was really passionate about and that I really wanted to learn more about. And having that kind of organic appreciation, sort of inquisitive nature for them is the key. So the first thing is I think I chose subjects that I loved. So I started off doing sciences, maths, English, primarily because they're academically rigorous and pushed me. And then I wanted to kind of learn more business-oriented subjects. So I picked up economics, business studies, random things like thinking skills. So I guess I would say my kind of first key strategy was choose things that I love and choose subjects that I think will be challenging or will provide kind of new incremental, knowledge to me. The second thing is, I think by no means should you spend the same amount of time on every subject. There are a few core skills that I believe are critically important. The first is, math. Second is English as sort of, the driving pillars of knowledge. once you've got a strong math foundation, things like physics, chemistry, and a lot of the thinking for statistics becomes, pretty, straightforward. And then with English, I think being really, really strong at analytical essays and analysis really helps you with everything, economics, business studies. It helps you with any kind of essay-based subject. So I think develop your core pillars of knowledge in math and English first, and then, spread out as you will. And then the other thing is I try and be very kind of strategic with how I learn subjects. So I want to always know that I'm using the best resources, and I want to know that I'm, learning most efficiently. So I spend a lot of time doing past paper questions. I spend a lot of time, asking great mentors and people around me what's the best way to learn different subjects. And I think that really helped me get through a lot of content, very efficiently and in a good way, because I think there's no point kind of, wasting time studying something if you're not studying the best material in the fastest way. So I think basically a combination of developing those key pillars of math and English, making sure that you love what you're doing, and then studying efficiently using the right resources is the best way to kind of, do well academically and get through a lot of interesting information.
That's fantastic. Incredible tips for us to aim high. So, were you always top at school from young, and did your parents have a great influence on your education?
Yeah, so firstly I should say I'm a very competitive guy, and I think that's been a fantastic trait to me to have that my parents really inspired within me. My mum always drilled into me, when I was younger, she really emphasized the importance of education and really being, a really key driver in how well you do in the future and your opportunities. And I really passionately believe that. I mean, I think in today's world, the quality of your education is really the only sustainable, defense you have against a really changing world. So I think, first of all, I really believed in this, and the importance of education generally. In terms of that leading to other things, it made me quite competitive around doing well at school. And so at St. Kitts Prep, we started having exams from about year 5. And I took them all very seriously from the get-go. So I was always first at King's academically, and I was stuck to both King's and St. Kitts Prep. But that really wasn't without, I really worked hard, and I had some very, very good students that I would compete with. And we really, I think, made each other better students as a result of that kind of competition. So I guess that's my take on that. In terms of my parents, I think, both my parents had a huge role. They were both role models for me in multiple different ways. My mum was the most focused academically, and she really pushed me to aim for the best in that sense. And then my dad was a kind of more holistic mentor to me, making sure that I was having, quite a balanced upbringing, and I was doing sports. He loved hockey and tennis, and I love those sports as well. So I guess both my parents were great role models for me. The other thing is my mum was incredibly supportive in making sure that I had great resources around me to do well. She made a lot of sacrifices to send me to great schools, and really, always motivated me to try my best. So, yeah, a combination of being competitive and having amazing influences from my parents that really helped.
That's very impressive. So it's a good foundation and a strong family support, which really drives you.
Absolutely, you got to have your family behind you. I think. I mean, if you're a situation, and there are many kids out there who, for whatever reason, say their parents didn't go to university, or their parents don't necessarily think academics are so important, but the kid is really passionate about it. Those kids can still do incredibly well, and there's enough resources around today to still do well in that case. But I think the best, most magical combination is when the parents are really behind the child's vision, and the child also really, believes in it as well. And I think that's really the best kind of combo for academic success.
That's cool. So you're passionate about helping young people to set their targets and realize their dreams. So as you said, you established a multinational consultant service, Crimson Consultant, in 2013. So can you tell us briefly about this company, and can you give us some tips on how we can get to the world's top educational institutes such as the Ivy League School or Oxford and Cambridge? And do you have a big goal for this company, and what is your ultimate goal?
Absolutely. Very, very good questions, and lots of them. I'll try and if I miss any, just let me know. So I think with Crimson, basically, my experience was in New Zealand. Everyone would tell me growing up at St. Kitts Prep and other people around me that aspiring to head into engineering, medicine, or law was really, the most traditional career path to go into for a strong academic student in New Zealand. And I never really felt a good fit with these fields. But when I was a Year 9 student at King's, my mentor, a guy called Ben Kornfeld, actually gained admission to Yale University, and he was duxed to the school. So I thought this was just amazing. I was so excited. And I asked around everyone around me, teachers, guidance counselors, other parents, students, etc. And people just really didn't have that much knowledge about how to go through the process. So I spent the next 5 years going through King's, really researching kind of every aspect of the US UK application process, and really made sure that I was the strongest candidate I could be. And then after I gained admission to all the schools I did, I realized there was a huge need in New Zealand for this kind of support. So that's when I started Crimson, with the goal of basically ensuring, every New Zealander, every Australian, and other, people from all kinds of international backgrounds can gain admission and do as well as they can in the kind of global university spectrum. Now, at Crimson, we don't just help kids applying to top tier schools, but a lot of our kids are. Broadly speaking, I mean, each country's application process is quite different, and it would take a long time to run through every piece, but at a high level, I mean, the things that for the US application process, for the Ivy League schools particularly, you want to emphasize is strong, consistent academic achievement for 4 years throughout your last 4 years of high school. So this is both internally within your kind of term orders and rankings, externally whether it's with your NCA, Cambridge, or IB, and also with your standardized tests. So things like, SATs, which are a subject test, an exam for the US. And then on top of that, you basically need to show that you are doing well relative to your environment. So whether you're a student at a school without many resources, perhaps in like a less developed community, or you go to a fantastic school with tons and tons of teachers, the schools admitting you, the universities, they want to know that you're doing well relative to your environment. So basically, you are taking advantage of every resource you can, doing the best you can, and that really helps. So they're the kind of drivers behind academic success for these schools. And additionally, you need to make sure that you're a very strong all-rounder. So you want to have good extracurriculars in a wide variety of areas, with a few areas you're very specialized and great in. Then also you want to be a strong leader. So schools like Harvard and Princeton and Stanford love strong leadership talent. So they want students who are going to be, the next game changers in the world. So if you've demonstrated leadership accomplishments, whether, like you, Tristan, you're a head boy of your school, or you're doing, interesting kind of leadership projects where you're running campaigns, running initiatives, starting kind of projects, they love to see that as well. So doing all those things is fantastic, backed up by some strong teacher recommendations and, strong reasons in the application essays why you're a good fit and, you want to kind of convey your personality. So it's a lot of things to go through, but basically doing all of those things well is sort of the key drivers behind success for the Ivy League universities.
That's very cool. You're doing something very meaningful to the young people and very useful hints for us. Tune in next week for the next part of the interview. Starting from the end of the month, Youth Voices will change from a weekly to a monthly show, as I'm busy with other commitments such as my university studies. This is the last Saturday show. Next month, on the 2nd of September, Youth Voices will be on the first Wednesday of each month at 2:10 p.m. We thank you, Jamie, for the interview on my show today. Don't forget to tune in next week at 2:10 p.m. on Wednesday for the next part of the interview. And if you want to listen to my other shows, please go to my website, www.questisfun.org.nz/youthvoices. That is www.quest-is-fun.org.nz/youthvoices. Selfish Day, that's it from me, Tristan Pang. Thank you for listening. I welcome your feedback and your support of the program. Please write to me on Facebook or email me to youthvoicesnz@gmail.com. Don't forget to like Youth Voices with Tristan Pang on Facebook. Good night, world. Join me again for another exciting program next month on the first Wednesday at 2:10 p.m. or listen anytime online at planetaudio.org.nz/youthvoices or listen to the archive on my website www.questisfun.org.nz/youthvoices. Youth Voices.